I'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth here at the Avenue Market. Wanted to share with you some of the top stories of 2019. As we have covered news around the state of Maryland, particularly here in the city of Baltimore, there have been some stories that have really led the way. I think one of the big stories, for starters, was the ransomware attack here in the city of Baltimore. Couldn't have come at a worse time, just when we were getting our new mayor, Bernard Jack Young, the interim mayor. So this ransomware really wreaked havoc, and I'm not sure if it's 100% back still as of yet. On that note, you can't talk about the ransomware and not know that we got to the ransomware situation under a mayor, Bernard Jack Young, after the indictment of former mayor Catherine Elizabeth Pugh. According to reports, she raised some $800,000 from the sale of the Healthy Holly book. So needless to say, the city of Baltimore is going through some transitions politically. 2020, of course, is an election year. Also politically, and this is a rather recent story, past week or so, Delegate Cheryl Glenn resigned and was indicted for wire fraud. Sorry to hear that. She was very instrumental in the medical marijuana legislation put before the Maryland General Assembly. And as it relates to the courts, I guess another story, in addition to Catherine Pugh, with Healthy Holly, Delegate Cheryl Glenn, who was very visible during the medical marijuana onset. Also noted attorney Kenneth Ravenel. He's currently being investigated and charges that he had been laundering money from drug dealers. Let's see, what else? Arsons down in southwest Baltimore. 2 people were arrested this year. And this story is particularly interesting to me because in Sandtown, where I live, about 2 blocks from where we are, last year we had a string of arsons as well. And I'm glad serious attention was paid to these fires, because they certainly are a menace in our community, particularly when you find it's the same culprits, and that's these homeless addicts a lot of time. I know here in Sandtown, we have a lot of homeless addicts who are not from this community. Lord knows where they are from. So we talked about ransomware, we talked about our politicians. What else do we have? Adrian Jones became the first African-American Speaker of the House. That is unprecedented here in the city, here in the state of Maryland. First black speaker, and that came as a result of Speaker Mike Bush passing. But we were very proud to see Delegate Talmadge Branch, Delegate Adrian Jones, Delegate Derek Davis out of Prince George's County, all working together to get us the first black speaker ever in the history of Maryland. So big ups to that. Let's go back to the legislature. I'll tell you a story. I'll never forget this one. Marianne Lasanti referred to Prince George's County as the nigger district. And she's still in the legislature. Imagine that. Also, Maya Rocky Moore Cummins made a lot of news in 2019. Of course, she is the wife of the late Congressman Elijah Cummins, and she's now announced her interest in running for his seat, and whether or not she will win, that remains to be seen. We have other people in that race, including former CEO of the NAACP and former Congressman Kweisi Mfume. On that note, this is a national story. We have to pay homage to Congressman John Conyers and also Congressman Elijah Cummins, as well as a news story. I want to pay our respects to John Lewis out of Georgia. It was announced over the weekend that he's suffering from stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So our prayers. And also I'm reminded that as these legends are leaving us, we need some new legends to step up to the plate. Corey McRae, by the way, is the new chair of the Maryland Democratic Party, at least the interim chair. And we're very proud of him. This young man has certainly risen through the ranks over in East Baltimore and is now holds a statewide position, at least for the interim. Let's see. I'm going to end you with a good story, I promise you. Sean Suda. I think Sean Suda is the case of the old switcheroo. Now, none of us in the community believe that Baltimore City Police Detective Sean Suda committed suicide. None of us. But what was interesting was this year, Commissioner Harrison came out and said that the case had been investigated by the state, and it's been determined that Sean Suda committed suicide. And then the community announced its outrage at such a ridiculous conclusion, and the commissioner changed his tune. So we call that the old switcheroo. And to date, we know that something is wrong with that investigation. We know that story hasn't all the way been told, and we will keep following it in 2020. Certainly Donald Trump has more than his share of news in this year 2019, including his impeachment. And I think the final story I'd like to get to, again, is the good story. Some call him unbelievable. Some call him LaMarvelous. Some call him LaMarkable. But certainly the Baltimore Ravens and quarterback Lamar Jackson has a lot of us proud. Go Ravens. Play like a Raven. My name's Donnie Glover, and these have been pretty much our top stories for 2019. Keep watching BMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.